Hello my dear friends and welcome to the CISSP Twister number 149. I am your host and your coach Manoj Sharma. I am here to simplify the entire CISSP for you. So even if you are preparing for CISSP, you are preparing for CISM exam or even CRISC exam as well, this particular video is going to be super helpful for you. In this entire video, I am going to talk you a lot about public key infrastructure and web of trust because the question actually relates to the same. So let's try to see how much you know about web of trust, and then we will follow with my explanation as well. Okay. With that said, here is the screen. Feel free to pause this particular video, take 15 seconds to go through, think through, answer this particular question, and let me know in the chat section, let me know in the comments below, and then I am going to explain you. Okay, great. I hope you have answered it, you have identified the answer. Let me go and talk about this particular question. The question says, in a web of trust model, users can revoke access to their encrypted emails if the recipient public key is compromised. So guys, here are quite a few concepts which we need to understand from the exam perspective, and it will take a little while. So please do not mind if the video becomes little lengthy by 2 to 3 minutes, right? Number one, first thing is, when you go on internet and you are trying to transact with a particular website or a server, right? How do you get that particular trust that this particular server is the right server where I need to do the transactions, right? Is there something which can help you? Just try to think through it, the same concept in the real world. Let's say you moved to a new city, a completely new city, and you don't know anybody. You need a particular plumber for your house, plumbing work, and you don't have any idea which particular vendor should I trust. There are two ways to do it, right? Number one, you reach out to a particular agency who is dedicated for the same thing. They actually go and review each and every vendor, and based on that they give you a rating or some kind of trust mechanism for you, so that you can with a very assured way you can go and interact with the particular vendor. Number one, you don't hesitate interacting with the vendor. The second way is where you don't go to the central authority, but you ask your friends and your community, your friends and family, and they let you know, okay, this particular vendor is good. So when we are relating to a central authority who takes care of the entire trust, we are talking about PKI, we are talking about the certificate authority. When it comes to taking the recommendations from your friend and based on that taking a decision, we are talking about the web of trust. So in a web of trust, the entire web of trust is based on asymmetric cryptography, as in the case of PKI as well. And as you know, in a asymmetric cryptography, we are using a public key and a private key, right? The major difference between a PKI and the web of trust is, this web of trust is decentralized. In the case of PKI, you have a certificate authority which is centralized. In this web of trust, the certificate authority is at all not there. The trust is distributed among the community or the people who are enrolled into a particular environment, and this is done by everybody signing a particular key. When everybody sign a particular key, the more people sign a particular key, that means that is much more trusted. So good thing is we don't need PKI. It can be implemented by small companies because you don't need a PKI, you don't need to spend on that particular infrastructure, so it is cost effective as well. There are so many solutions available which you can implement. A very popular solution for web of trust is the pretty good privacy, right? PGP. The another solution you might have heard is also called as GNU Privacy Guard. So these are some of the mechanisms which you can use for implementing web of trust. Where can we use it? We can use it in the same way we use PKI as well. You can use it for emails, you can use it for signing, digital signatures, all of that. So there is no difference, right? Now coming back on understanding a little bit about the asymmetric cryptography. In asymmetric cryptography, there are two keys, as we know. One is public key, one is private key. Private key is meant to be private, so you should never ever share with anyone. Public key is meant to be public. In case of PKI, the particular certificate authority will take care, will validate everything for you, and it will give you a comfort that the public key has not been compromised, right? In case of web of trust, this certificate authority is not there. So this particular public key has to be encrypted, or you can say it has to be signed by everybody in the environment, and based on that you are going to get the assurance, right? Whenever a transaction happens, let it be in PKI or let it be in web of trust, it always happens in the similar way. In general communication, the recipient, for example, you want to send me a message, you have to use my public key to encrypt your message or the key and send across to me. When it reaches to me, I am going to use my private key to decrypt it. Simple as that. That is effective in all PKI or web of trust. That's the general principle across. The only scenario changes when you are going for digital signature. In digital signature, you need an assurance. I need to give somewhere, right? I have to sign it. For example, I am signing a contract, so I have to use my own signature. This time I can't use your public key to sign it, right? I have to use my own private key to sign the particular document. So only in the case of digital signature, a particular entity is using their private key to sign a particular document and then send across on the other side. That is what is called as a digital signature as well, right? And that gives the particular level of confidence to the other party that the message is actually coming from the trusted authority, and there is an element of known repudiation as well, so that nobody can repudiate saying I did not send you this particular thing, right? That is not possible. I think we have spoken about a lot of concepts, right? Let's get back to the question, right? In this question it says, in a web of trust model, user can revoke access to their encrypted emails if the recipient public key is compromised. First thing, what will happen if a public key is compromised? Because you may have an argument saying public key is meant to be public, then what is the fun? Even if it is getting compromised, who cares for that, isn't it? Actually, it is to be cared. Why? Let's say if somebody is able to put their key instead of your public key, and they replace your public key with their public key. Let's say I am a hacker, I put my public key instead of yours, I replace it, and then I will have the associated private key as well. And if any other party is trying to use this particular public key to send the message across, then the hacker can very easily decrypt using the private key. So that is why not even for private key we need a strong assurance and a strong security even for the public keys as well. And that is why all these certificate authorities and these kind of stuff, right, they are so important. They are doing such a good job. Now from this particular question perspective, it says in a web of trust model, user can revoke access to their encrypted email if the recipient public key is compromised. Guys, number one, if you have already sent an email, let it be in the case of PKI or let it be in any other case, the email has already gone. The particular user might have already read it through, right? So if somebody has downloaded a particular email, they can still see it. So that's not the problem. The thing is, what you can do now is, when you know that a public key for some user has been compromised, you can avoid sending them message or use the latest key, right? It might come to you through a particular software, through a particular notification, knowing by your friend that the particular public key has been compromised, and then you stop sending more messages to them until the particular user gives you a new public key. and you establish that particular trust. So when it says that the email can be revoked, that's not possible, right? In a web of trust model, user cannot revoke access to their encrypted email if the recipient public key is compromised. The only thing is they can prohibit sending them email until they get a new public key, and this is also valid even for PKI as well. So you see how this particular question has been twisted, and you know how deep this question was. To answer this particular question, you need to understand what is trust, what is PKI, what is web of trust, how these web of trust and PKI are different, and how it entire thing goes, how symmetric cryptography works, and at the same time you also need to understand, can it be possible for you to revoke the public key? Because public key is only used at the time of encrypting and sending the message. The other party might already use their private key to decrypt it, and they might have already done it. So there is no fun in validating that further, right? So I hope this entire video, I am sorry it's been little lengthy, I think 11 minutes, but I think you got a lot from this particular video, and this will help you in your CISSP exam. If you are really serious about your CISSP preparation, do consider subscribing to this particular channel. If you are a serious aspirant who want to clear your CISSP within 100 days, I am here to help you out as one of the best course, CISSP Success Toolkit, that has everything you need for your CISSP in one single place. No need to read any heavyweight books, nothing. It is super simple, because my mantra is simplifying CISSP. With that guys, thank you, Jai Hind, and I am going to see you in the next video.